everyone, it's Ann. I'm here to show you how to do an altered letter using just bits and bobs of things you might have laying around the house, such, you know, broken jewelry, pieces, gems, whatever you have in your stash to decorate a pretty letter, okay? And adding gems at the end, and I'll show you that how I did that too. All right, so these are all done from, you know, broken pieces of jewelry as well as some beads that I had bought a while ago, but also some of them are actually from broken pieces of jewelry, that some of the beads are, and some of the charms are actually from broken bits of jewelry as well, and some I did buy. So it just depends on what you have in your stash and how you can make these. And when I'm all done, this is actually I have the letter C, and I've pretty much done all the letters except for the very last letter. I'm creating the word create, and it's going to hang above the window. I have a window. My desk is actually, my work table is actually in front of a window, so I'm going to do it above the window. There's some space above there, and I thought that would be a perfect space to put the word create. So I'm going to show you with the letter E, the last letter, and then at the very end I will show you the rest of the letters that I did. So basically what I did already, because I didn't want to bore you guys to tears, was I took a bunch of scraps of scrapbooking papers, maps, old brochures, whatever, to cover this up, okay? And don't worry about it overlapping the letters, because once it dries, you're going to take an X-Acto knife or a pen, you know, one of those. I have this pen knife. That's really cool. I got this at Gesso, and it's got a sharp edge to it. Anyhow, so what I did is once it was all done, I got my cutting board. I have a cutting mat, and I turned it over and I went around it. I cut around the edges to cut the excess paper off. So then it'll look like this, okay? The next step is I took a little bit of gesso, and what I did is because I've been squeezing out too much of it, I actually have been putting it on a palette. My palette's really dirty right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of it on my on my wax paper that I have here. And what I did was I took a credit card or an old gift card or whatever you've got that you can scrape some of this gesso onto here. And you're going to scrape it over the top. Just add a little bit in some places, because what you're going to do is you're going to wipe it off. Because you want to have some of this nice pretty paper showing through. You don't want to cover it all up. You kind of want to leave it kind of see-through, kind of. So initially it looks like it's covering it, and it's not, okay? So what I did is I get a baby wipe. And I went ahead and, excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. Went ahead and just go ahead and wipe off the excess. So it kind of leaves it kind of a milky white look to it. Once it dries, it'll show through a little bit more, okay? Excuse me. So I'm going to take my heat gun to speed things up, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay. The next step is to get a brush and some paint. This is a milk paint by Folk Art. I got this I think I got it at Walmart. And make sure you shake it good before you pour a little bit out. As you can see, I already kind of had some and it dried out. That's okay. All right. You just need enough to go around the edges of your wooden letter. And these letters I actually bought at Walmart in their craft section, their arts and crafts section of the store. But you can also get them at Michael's, and I think Hobby Lobby sells them. So yeah, They're not that expensive. They're like a few, you know, I don't remember how much I paid for these, but I think they were like less than $1 actually, of each, which isn't bad. And I wanted to get them all the same size, but unfortunately, when I did go, they didn't have all the same sizes. So I'm gonna have a few letters that are a little bit smaller and a little bit bigger, but I think it'll be cute once it's done. I think once I have it hanging all these things up on my wall above my window, that I think it'll work out really well. I think it'll look okay. Like I said, I don't like things that are perfect anyways, so I kind of like the imperfection, the homemade look of things, not the machine-made stuff that you get at the stores these days. So, yeah. So you're gonna just go around the edges, make sure you cover it all up. Try not to get any on the top of your letter, you know, on the surface part. And if you do, you can always wipe it off with a baby wipe or a wet piece of paper towel if you don't use baby wipes. I've now started, I used to buy them individual packages of baby wipes, and because I use them so much for other things in the house as well as for my art, I've started buying the cases at Costco, the Kirkland brand baby wipes, and they work perfect for what I need them for. So see, I kind of accidentally went over the edge here, so I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it. Just look around the edges and make sure you got them all. Okay, so I got them all around all the edges and everything. And now I'm going to go ahead and let this dry, and I'll be back in a few. All right, so the next step is to get some of your favorite stencils or whatever, and you're going to add a little bit of marks on top of the letter. And I got some pink paint here for this letter, and I'm just going to go ahead and start going over the top of this with what I have. And less is more when it comes to stenciling. Less paint on your sponge, the better, on your makeup sponge. And sometimes I tend to forget that and I overload the sponge, and then it kind of blobs. I'm going to use a little bit of the ultramarine blue on this one. A lot of this is going to get covered up a little bit, but that's okay. So, you know, just kind of eyeball where you want to put your marks, and then, you know, you're going to kind of figure out where you're going to put your broken pieces of jewelry or embellishments of some sort, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm going to leave it like that, and then I'm going to use my heat gun, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so when that's all done, you're going to take some tacky glue. That's going to be your best friend today to glue on your pieces, and just kind of, you know, go in your stash and see what you have and take out just you know, pieces of whatever, and see what will work and what won't. All right, so I'm gonna kind of speed through this part of all my gluing and stuff, of all the things I'm gonna glue on here, and I hope that you enjoy my process. So I've got all my bling, everything that I want on it, and I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll come back and show you how to put the screw eyes, is what they're called, along here with it, so that I can hang the charms. I'll show you how I did that after this dries. So I'll be back in a few. All right, so I'm back. Everything's pretty much dry. With the Anneliese's tacky glue, it goes on white, but it dries clear, so it's not quite clear on this one yet, but it's getting there. Anyhow, so I have beaded together several beads with charms. Some of them are vintage beads that I had from other broken pieces of jewelry. Some of them I bought. The charms were from broken pieces of jewelry that I got in an antique shop, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and start attaching these. Now I'm going to show you what I did here. I did this off camera because it was just easier rather than banging on the camera. But anyways, these are called screw eyes, of all things. I got this at Ace Hardware, or forgot the other name of the other. They're affiliated. They're two home improvement stores and they're affiliated. I wouldn't recommend going to Home Depot to try to find these, because good luck getting somebody to help you. Not to put Home Depot down. I mean, I shop there occasionally for things, but for hard to find items like this, you're better off going to a smaller hardware store where you'll get some help to find these. And how I started the holes in these is I got a little screw. I mean, not a little screw, a little nail, and I hammered it in a little bit, and then I took the nail out and screwed them in. So to get the eye thing started, the screw eyes started. So now I'm going to take some jump rings. These are called metal jump rings. I don't know why they're called jump rings. They don't jump out at me. Anyhow, so I'm going to attach these on. I'm going to start with the longer piece. Now this is called a swivel, this piece here. And I got this piece, I'll show you if I still have the original packaging. I don't think I do. No, I don't. But anyways, these I got at Walmart. You can get them in the fishing area, you know, where all the sporting goods area of Walmart is. You can find those there. And they're not that expensive there versus going to you know, arts and crafts store and finding these in the, you know, in their arts and craft area, you know, craft area. They tend to be a lot more expensive, and you can get them cheaper going to Walmart and shopping in the fishing area. There's all kinds of cool things for making fishing lures with, and pretty much the same things that jewelry or crafter people use. So you're just better off going there and getting it because it's much cheaper. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Open this up, put this in here. My hands still have glue all over them from earlier. I should have wiped my hands off first, but oh well. I'm a messy crafter. I'm a messy artist. Okay. I gotta spread it open a little bit to get it through the jump ring and the eye screw. Okay, so I'm gonna close this one up first. And to do this, you really need to have some good pliers and strong fingers and hands, which I don't necessarily have. My arthritis in my hands have been acting up lately, and I've been having a lot of issues with them. So I'm having problems with this too. Okay, got that on. I'm going to feed this through. Feed it through, go in this direction. Like that. Oops. No, not like that. I want to go through the jump ring, not the eye screw. Okay. And then you just flip it over and use your pliers to squeeze it shut if you have weak fingers and hands like I do. It helps to have some pliers that you can use to help squeeze it in, and sometimes it doesn't work. There we go. So there's that one. These, okay, so this is a little longer, so I'll put this one in the middle. This time I'm not feeding it through through a swivel ring or anything like that. I'm just going to go ahead and attach it. I wanted that one to be longer than this one. So I wanted this strand to be longer than this one. And then this one a little bit shorter. And unfortunately I didn't have any more silver colored eye screws, so I had to switch to the gold, and it doesn't really matter for this project. I mean, if you're picky and you really want gold, you know, gold pins or whatever, you know, as this I did in silver, did the whole strand with a silver pin and silver rings and everything. So if you're really concerned about, you know, matching it up exactly, then get yourself some gold pins. I just use what I have on hand. I try not to go out and buy new things. And speaking of which, Walmart now sells some of the pins for jewelry making. They even sell some starter kits now in the arts and craft area. So check it out if you don't have any of these items and you want to make charms and you want to make these letters. So unfortunately I don't know when my camera shut off, but I went ahead and strung the beads through using some jumper rings and the eye hooks and everything, and there you have it. And I will show you the finished product, all the other letters. Just stay tuned after this video. Thanks again for watching, and if you like what you see, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. Toodles. Bye. Have a wonderful day.